All right, so ever find yourself wishing there was, like, a better way to uncover those hidden gem businesses? Or maybe just share your favorite spots with people who get it?
It's like a universal struggle, right? Trying to cut through the noise and find the places that really resonate.
Totally. And that's exactly what makes this letter someone sent to Google so fascinating. It's basically a proposal for a whole new app centered around business discovery and reviews.
What I found really interesting was how the author didn't just jump into features, they really laid out the why. They're clearly frustrated with how current platforms work, especially for small businesses.
Yeah, they made that super clear. Like, remember that feeling of scrolling through endless Google reviews, wondering if the algorithm's even showing you the best stuff?
It's like a needle in a haystack sometimes, and for small business owners trying to stand out, talk about an uphill battle.
Absolutely. And this app tries to address that in a really clever way, starting with something they call user connectivity. Now, before you think, oh, great, another social network, this is different.
It is. Instead of just randomly adding friends, it's all about connecting with people who have similar tastes, specifically when it comes to businesses. Imagine following someone whose restaurant recommendations are always on point.
Oh, I see where you're going with this. It's like suddenly their reviews hold way more weight than some strangers, right?
Exactly. It's about building a network you trust, which kind of circles back to that whole algorithm fatigue thing we were talking about.
Yeah.
You're relying on real people, not just some faceless system.
Makes sense. Okay, so what else did this proposal dive into?
Well, another big one was their business spotlight feature. And this is where they get really smart with how people consume information these days. Multimedia.
No more walls of text, right? What did they have in mind?
Think mini documentaries, professional photos, basically giving businesses a way to showcase themselves in a really engaging way.
That's so much more powerful than just reading a dry review, even if it's positive. Like, I'm way more likely to remember a place if I've seen it come to life visually.
Exactly. And then it gets even more interesting. They have this whole section dedicated to fair business exposure, which I have to say is a pretty ambitious goal.
Right, because how do you actually make sure that happens? I mean, the author even framed it as a David versus Goliath situation.
Yeah.
Small businesses competing with those giant corporations and their massive marketing budgets.
And to their credit, they actually propose a solution, a constantly evolving algorithm that prioritizes quality content and engagement over just like who can throw the most money at advertising.
So it's about leveling the playing field, making sure smaller businesses have a chance to be seen based on merit, not just their budget.
Exactly. And it all hinges on transparency. Users need to trust that the app is showing them the best options, not just the ones that have paid for Prime placement.
Okay, so we've got hyperlocal recommendations, this focus on fairness. But then they take it a step further, talking about global reach.
Right, because why stop at your own city or country? Imagine planning a trip abroad and being able to tap into the recommendations of people with your interests from all over the world.
That would be amazing. It could totally change how we experience new places, connect with different cultures, even how businesses collaborate internationally.
It's a big vision, for sure. And, whether this app ever actually gets built is one thing, but just the fact that someone's thinking about these issues and proposing solutions is pretty cool.
No, totally. This letter, it's less about a concrete plan and more like a starting point for a much bigger conversation about how technology shapes our choices and, honestly, the future of small businesses in a digital world. And honestly, I really hope someone at Google is paying attention.